Deep in the heart of the Congo lurks something massive. For generations, locals have whispered about a creature unlike anything known to science. A fucking long-necked beast straight out of prehistoric times. Eyewitnesses swear they've seen it. They describe a living dinosaur. Scientists roll their eyes, dismissing it as, nothing but myth. But here's the thing. The people who have seen it ain't outsiders. They're hunters, fishermen, and tribes who have lived on this land for centuries. They know what the hell they saw. So, what if they're right? What if something ancient still roams the African jungles? What if something huge survived extinction? Could we be ignoring proof of a living dinosaur? Maybe the past isn't as dead as we think. For centuries, deep in the murky swamps of the Congo, stories have circulated about something massive, something ancient. The locals call it Mokele Mbembe, and if the stories are true, this thing isn't just some oversized reptile, it's a goddamn dinosaur. Eyewitnesses describe a huge, long-necked critter, something eerily similar to a sauropod, a creature that's supposed to have gone extinct 66 million years ago. But people keep seeing it. And these aren't just random modern-day cryptid hunters hopping up another blurry photo. This legend goes way the fuck back. Long before Western explorers even stepped foot in the region, local tribes were already telling the same damn account, generation after generation. Of course, scientists shake their head. There's no fossil evidence, they say. No clear photos, no carcass. But let's be real. How often does someone just stumble across a fucking elephant or rhino skeleton laying in the middle of the jungle? Not very often, if ever. Nature cleans up fast, and the Congo is one of the most unexplored places on Earth. The Congo River Basin is one of the world's largest and most significant wilderness areas, encompassing approximately 781,000 square miles across 6 African countries. Expeditions have gone looking for Mokele Mbembe. Some claim they found evidence, others didn't find shit. But one thing remains, the sightings never stopped. So, what if the locals are right? What if we're ignoring proof of a living dinosaur? Maybe it's time to stop dissing the past and start taking a damn good look at what's lurking in the present. Long before any Western explorer ever set foot in the Congo, the local tribes already knew something big was lurking in the rivers and swamps. They didn't just whisper about it in bedtime stories or paint it in sacred caves for the hell of it. No, this fucker was real to them. As real as the crocodiles, the hippos, and the jungle itself. They called it Mokele Mbembe, which means the one who stops the flow of rivers. And if the stories are true, this thing isn't just massive, it's a straight-up horror show for anyone who gets too close. The Mokele Mbembe inhabits the Congo River Basin area of West and Central Africa, including the vast Lekula Swamp and the rivers of southeastern Cameroon and northeastern Republic of Congo. For centuries, the descriptions have remained shockingly consistent. Mokele Mbembe is said to be the size of an elephant with a long, snake-like neck, a small head, a massive body, and smooth, hairless, brownish-gray skin. It has a very long tail as powerful as a crocodile's, and clawed feet the size of frying pans. Many have said it has a single horn on its head, similar to a rhino. Several have said it has a 6 to 9 inch tall frill going all the way down its back. Its body size is somewhere between the size of a hippopotamus and an elephant. Its length has been reported to be between 16 and 32 feet. The round-shaped tracks left by the monster are between 1 to 3 feet in diameter with 3 claws. The distance between strides is about 7 to 8 feet. The pygmies, natives of the Lukula swamp region, report that the Mokele Mbembe primarily eats the Malombo plant from alongside the shoreline. Since it only eats plants, it's classified as an herbivore. Unlike most land animals in the region, this big fella is semi-aquatic, spending most of its time in the deep, murky waters of remote lakes and winding rivers. And here's the chilling part. This isn't some gentle giant peacefully floating along like a manatee. It's downright fucking aggressive. People have witnessed the creature attacking boats, tipping over canoes, and straight up killing, but not eating, anyone who gets too close to its territory. Just like a hippo, it's fiercely protective of its home. And then there are those really wild stories. Some tribes don't just fear Mokele Mbembe, they worship it. In some places, like the Boha village, it's a sacred beast, a guardian of the waterways, an untouchable force of nature that no one dares to cross. But not every story is so reverent. There are tales of hunters who tried to kill it, of warriors who thought they could take it down, only to regret it instantly. Unlike a lot of cryptid stories, Mokele Mbembe isn't treated like some ghostly apparition or a mythical monster. It's not like Bigfoot, where people argue about whether it's a flesh and blood animal or some dude in a fucking monkey suit. To the locals, this thing is just another creature. It's rare, it's elusive, and yeah, it's dangerous, but it's no fucking fairy tale. It's just part of the landscape. And that's what makes this legend so damn compelling. Because if these stories were just old myths, you'd expect them to change a little over time. But they haven't. The descriptions from hundreds of years ago sound exactly like the encounters reported today. We should never dismiss tribal accounts of this thing just because they come from tribal folks. That's disrespectful and being a dickhead. Maybe, just maybe, the people who've lived alongside Mokele Mbembe for centuries ain't making shit up. Maybe they've been telling us the truth this whole time. And if that's the case, then what the hell is lurking in the depths of the Congo? The stories about Mokele Mbembe go back centuries, passed down by the locals, but what about actual recorded sightings? What about folks who've gone into the jungle and come back swearing they saw shit they can't explain? The origin of the creature can be traced back to a 1909 book by zoologist Carl Hagenbeck called Beasts and Men. Based on recently discovered, fresh-looking dinosaur bones that appeared less fossilized than expected, He wondered whether the species had survived much longer than mainstream science believed. On top of that, Hagenbeck heard from multiple credible sources about a creature living in the Congo region which was described as half elephant, half dragon. Hagenbeck figured that sauropods may still live in Africa. The first recorded mention of Mokele Mbembe in Western records comes from Captain Ludwig Freiherr von Stein, a German explorer who traveled through the Congo. His mission, however, had nothing to do with cryptids. He was mapping out territory for Germany in what is now Cameroon in 1913. But while talking to the locals, he kept hearing the same strange account. Many tribes described a gigantic, long-necked beast that lived in the rivers and swamps. They were dead fucking serious about it. No bullshit. It was a real animal, a dangerous and territorial one. Von Stein didn't actually see the creature himself, but the sheer consistency and conviction of the local accounts left him convinced it was real. He described it as a monstrous creature, neither hippopotamus nor elephant, which scares the shit out of the natives. He was so freaked out by all the crazy shit he had been told that he refused to publish his findings in scientific journals, fearing ridicule from his peers. In 1919, a large 32-man expedition was sent to Africa from the Smithsonian Institute in Washington, D.C. The objective was to secure undiscovered specimens of plants and animals. Photographers from the Universal Film Manufacturing Company accompanied the expedition in order to document the search. African guides found large, unexplained tracks, and later in a swamp, the team heard mysterious roars which no one could identify. However, the expedition ended in tragedy. During a train ride through a flooded area where an entire tribe was said to have seen the dinosaur, the locomotive suddenly derailed and turned over. 4 team members were crushed to death, and another 6 were seriously injured. 1927 saw the publication of Trader Horn, a memoir of Alfred Smith. In the book, Smith related tales told to him by natives and explorers about a creature given 2 different names, Jagonini and Amali. The creature is said to be very large and to leave large, round, 3-clawed footprints. Zoologist Ivan T. Sanderson said that while in Cameroon in 1932, he witnessed an enormous creature in the Mainyu River. The creature was only briefly visible. Darkly colored, the animal's head was the size and shape of a horse's head. His native guides called the creature Mokele Mbembe. Reverend Eugene Thomas from Ohio told a story that involved the killing of a Mokele Mbembe near Lake Tele in 1959. Thomas was a missionary who had served in the Congo since 1955, gathering much of the earliest evidence and reports, and had 2 close encounters himself. Natives of the Bengambi tribe who lived near Lake Tele were said to have constructed a large, spiked fence in a tributary of Tele to keep Mokele Mbembe from clogging it up and fucking up their fishing. A Mokele Mbembe managed to break through, though it was wounded on the spikes. The natives then killed the creature with spears. Pastor Thomas also mentioned that the 2 pygmies mimicked the cry of the animal as it was being killed. That's pretty fucking cruel. Later, a victory feast was held. during which parts of the animal were cooked and eaten. However, those who participated in the feast later died, either from food poisoning or from natural causes. Moreover, Roy Mackle heard from local witnesses that the steaks were still in the same location in the tributary as of 1981. Another expedition was organized in 1981. The expedition encountered what they believed was a Congo dinosaur along the Lukula River when they heard a large animal jump into the water. They also found a path of broken branches made by the animal, as well as a number of unknown footprints in the mud. In December 1985, Rory Nugent spotted the animal but was ordered at gunpoint by natives not to approach it. Nugent said that they view the creature as a god that you cannot approach. But if he chooses, this god can approach you. He also took some pictures, but they were too blurry and pretty much sucked. Jump ahead to 1981. We've got two dudes who took shit seriously enough to put boots on the ground. Dr. Roy Mackle, a biologist from the University of Chicago, and herpetologist James Powell. Unlike von Stein, Mackle and Powell weren't just passing through. They specifically went to the Congo looking for Mokele Mbembe. Mackle had already made a name for himself in cryptozoology, and he believed there was a real chance that an undiscovered species could be hiding in the vast, unexplored jungles of Africa. Powell, meanwhile, was studying the region's wildlife and folklore, which led him straight to the legend of Mokele Mbembe. What did they find? Well, no DNA or remains, but many first-hand testimonies from locals who swore up and down they'd seen the beast. Over and over, folks kept describing the exact same creature. The two researchers even showed the locals drawings of different animals, both alive and extinct. When shown pictures of a sauropod dinosaur, the locals excitedly pointed to it, saying that was the creature they'd seen. And here's the thing. These weren't people who had been exposed to Western science or dinosaurs. There's no goddamn reason for them to describe an extinct creature so accurately, unless they were all seeing something damn close to it in real life. Unfortunately, despite gathering a ton of testimonies and potential evidence, Mackle and Powell never found the creature itself. But they left absolutely convinced that something big, something unknown, was still lurking in those waters. In 1988, a Japanese film crew working on a documentary about Africa's unexplored regions was in the Congo Basin when they captured something unusual. They captured the first photographic evidence of Mokele Mbembe. As they were filming aerial footage from a small plane over Lake Tele, the cameraman noticed a disturbance in the water. He struggled to maintain focus on the object, which was creating a noticeable wake. The footage shows a massive disturbance in the water, like something huge moving just beneath the surface. Whatever it wasn't a crocodile or hippo. The movement was too large, too deliberate, and it didn't match anything the locals were familiar with. The crew had no explanation for what they saw, but the local tribes knew what the fuck it was. Mokele Mbembe. Just because we don't hear about Mokele Mbembe every day doesn't mean people aren't still seeing it. The problem? The Congo is one of the most remote, unforgiving places on Earth. We're talking dense fucking jungle, dangerous wildlife, extreme weather, and political instability. It's not exactly a place where you could just waltz in with a camera crew and expect to get crystal clear footage of an unknown animal. But that hasn't stopped the reports. Fishermen, hunters, and travelers still claim to have run into something massive in the water. Some say they've seen long-necked silhouettes moving across the river at dusk. Others have reported hearing deep, guttural bellows echoing through the jungle at night. Sounds that don't match any known species in the area. Then there are the tracks. Huge, three-toed footprints pressed into the mud along riverbanks, way too big and deep to belong to any known reptile or mammal in the region. And, of course, every now and then someone vanishes without a trace in the Congo's swamps, leading to whispers that Mokele Mbembe doesn't just guard its territory, it defends it. Expeditions stretch over more than a century, from explorers and scientists to modern-day locals and travelers. Yet, despite all these reports, we still don't have that smoking gun, that clear, butt-ass naked proof that Mokele Mbembe is more than just a legend. But if all these people from 1909 to today are telling the truth, then something big and ancient is still out there. All right, let's break this shit down. Why, after over a century of encounters, don't we have rock-solid proof? And what are the skeptics saying versus the believers? Let's start with the doubters, and then we'll see if their arguments really hold water. There's no hard evidence. This is the big one. No bones, no clear photographs, no captured specimens. If Mokele Mbembe is real, where's the proof? Sounds convincing, until you actually think about it. First off, the Congo River Basin is over 780,000 square miles of dense, wet, unforgiving jungle. It's not like big fucking open plains where bones just sit around waiting to be found. In a place filled with scavengers, bacteria, and endless waterlogged terrain, a dead critter doesn't last very long. Ever seen an elephant or rhino skeleton in the wild? No? That's because nature cleans up quickly. Now, imagine trying to find the remains of a solitary, elusive, amphibious creature in a fuckscape where even experienced explorers can barely survive. Good luck. People were just misidentifying hippos or pythons. Skeptics argue that locals are mistaking known animals for Mokele Mbembe. But here's the problem with that theory. The people describing Mokele Mbembe have lived in the region for generations. They know what a goddamn hippo looks like. They hunt, fish, and survive in the jungle. They aren't mistaking a common animal for a giant, long-necked, dinosaur-looking fucker. It's just folklore and hoaxes. Skeptics love to claim the legend of Mokele Mbembe as just a myth, a cultural story that's been passed down and exaggerated over time, like a game of telephone. Some even say it's been influenced by Western explorers and their obsession with dinosaurs. But here's the kick in the balls. Locals were describing this thing long before anyone from the outside world showed up. These tribes had zero exposure to paleontology or dinosaur fossils. yet somehow their descriptions perfectly match a sauropod? That's either the most wildest coincidence ever, or that's exactly what they're seeing. Alright, now that we've poked holes in the skeptical side, let's talk about why Mokele Mbembe could actually be real. The Congo Basin is the perfect hiding spot. The Congo is one of the least explored places on Earth. Only 10% of the 780,000 square miles of the Congo has been explored. We're talking about a massive, dense jungle with huge swamps and rivers barely touched by modern civilization. If an undiscovered species wanted to stay on the DL, this would be the ideal place. We keep finding extinct species. Remember the coelacanth? It's a prehistoric fish that was supposed to have gone extinct 66 million years ago, until a fisherman caught one alive in 1938. Oops. This isn't a one-time thing either. Science is constantly rediscovering animals we thought were long gone. Here's another example. The Laotian rock rat was said to have went extinct 11 million years ago. That is, until scientists stumbled across one being sold as food at a local market in Laos in 1996. This is a rat burger? So why wouldn't a population of sauropod-like creatures be possible, especially in a place as remote and untouched as the Congo? The locals all describe the same thing. Again, these ain't just random people telling bullshit stories for attention. These are tribes who've lived in the region for centuries. Several different groups separated by distance that don't communicate with each other at all, describing the same damn creature the same damn way. If it was just folklore, you'd expect several different versions of the story. But no, Mokele Mbembe is always described the same way. This consistency confirms to me that these accounts are true. Tracks, eyewitness reports, and water disturbances. We might not have a dead body, but we've got physical evidence. Huge three-toed footprints found along riverbanks. Massive water disturbances caught on film. Multiple credible eyewitness reports spanning over a century. That's a lot of consistent evidence for something that's supposed to be just bullshit. At the end of the day, Mokele Mbembe remains a mystery, but one that absolutely deserves more serious attention. The truth is, the expeditions that have searched for it were often underfunded, ran into logistical nightmares, or just couldn't navigate the region properly. It ain't like someone's thrown millions of dollars at a full-scale, high-tech search mission for this fucking thing. But that's changing. With modern technology, drones, thermal imaging, and LiDAR, there's a good chance we'll finally uncover the truth. And if even only one sighting turns out to be legitimate, then everything we thought we knew about extinction goes right out the damn window. So, is Mokele Mbembe just another jungle myth? Some horseshit story passed down through generations, twisted into legend? Or is it something real? A prehistoric creature lurking deep in the Congo's untouched wilderness, just waiting to be found. Skeptics scoff because that's just what they do. They demand bones, DNA, and hours of 4K footage. And yeah, that'd be nice, but let's be real. A lot of times, it ain't as clear-cut as that. Nature erases evidence fast. A carcass sinks, scavengers strip it clean, and the jungle swallows up whatever's left. It's no wonder nothing solid has ever been found. But the encounters? That shit don't go away. The locals still talk about it, still claim to see it, still describe the same damn thing. A massive, long-necked beast moving through the water, defying logic, defying extinction, defying your mom, defying everything. Explorers, scientists, film crews, they've all come back with strange encounters. Something ginormous is out there stirring up the rivers. And that's the thing. If people keep seeing something, then there's something to be seen. This ain't just a blurry photo or some half-baked Bigfoot sighting. This is a consistent, centuries-old mystery. If a dinosaur could still exist in the Congo, what else is out there? What other extinct species are still alive, just out of reach? We've barely scratched the surface on what's hiding in the oceans, the jungles, the caves, the deep, forgotten places on this planet. The world is so full of mysteries, we just don't like admitting how little we fucking know. So maybe it's time we stop dismissing the past as, just legend, and start hunting for the truth. Because if even one sighting is real, if one creature is still hanging out there, then everything we thought we knew about history is dead wrong. If you jammed with this video, tap that like button and subscribe. That way, you won't miss out on more of my fucked up commentary. And besides, I really do appreciate it. So, Mokele Mbembe, man, what a fucking ride. Do you think it's a living dinosaur or just a bunch of bullshit? Let me know in the comments. And if you really want to do me a solid, click on that join button just below the title and become part of my YouTube membership. For as little as $2.99, you all can help me out more than you know. Until next time, y'all keep it real, keep it chill, and stay creepy! Catch you on the flip. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. You are the real beast.